It's like the most low energy song of all. I know. Yeah. We were talking about getting up on stage and then all of a sudden it got real smooth jazzy on us. So we'll work with it. It'll be good. Hi, good morning. Good morning. Actually, that was decent for 9 o'clock, but I have to ask it again because that's the rule. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday Story. Really, really excited to have such a good crowd out here, especially at 9 a.m. And yes, we've heard your suggestion, maybe 10 a.m. would be better. I will write that down. So this is a part of Design Week, which this is its 4th year, I think. And this is the second day. They had their kickoff party last night. There's a whole week of events. It's really, really great. You can Google St. Louis Design Week and see all of the events. But you came here today for the Sunday Story, so I really, really appreciate that. This is the first time we're trying it, and I'll kind of tell you what we're attempting. So we wanted to do a blend of things, and at the core of it, find somebody who had a story to be told that maybe hasn't had the chance or opportunity to do it before. So you might not find them at a TED event or being asked to keynote a whole bunch of conferences, but they have something valuable to share. And so what we did is we recruited some folks. We picked Keisha, and I'll tell you a little bit about her in a minute. And then we had a team of people, some speakers themselves, coach her through writing the speech and actually giving it. And Keisha's stellar, so we didn't have that much work to do, which helped us out a lot. And then we had a team of people put together this production here. And the goal being we're going to just try a bunch of weird stuff. Like most of this just came up because I had weird ideas like, hey, it'd be cool if you could text in a coffee order. Why not try that? Or these living logos, which are pretty cool, that Retrofit Studios helped us put together. So there's a ton of stuff that we're trying out here. So if you have any feedback, please let any of us know who have Sandbox stickers on. We really, really are very open to it. So please help us make this as good as possible if you're not doing it again in the future. So you're going to hear Keisha give a speech, a little bit of a story about her life. And she is the Director of Innovation for College Bound. And she helps work on a piece of software, you can read a little bit about it on the card, that helps matriculation into college, which is really important, especially in St. Louis. So without further ado, let's bring up Keisha.
Hi, friends. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out today. Much appreciated at 9 o'clock this morning. How are you this morning? Great, let's try again. I used to be a teacher, so this caller is about to think I need it. So how are you this morning? Good. So I'm Keisha Mabry, like they said, and I have a few questions this morning. Sure, you didn't expect a pop quiz at 9 a.m., but like I said, I used to be a teacher, so what did you expect? All right, are you ready for the first question? Yes. Okay. First question, what's in a name? Is it origin, expectation, identity, family tradition? Or do parents just have a love for bee names? You know those families, Bobby, Brenda, Bernice, Beatrice. Any other bee names you can think of? Brian, exactly. I actually have a few friends that are just like that. Second question of the hour, what's in your name? Take a look at your name tag. Call and response. Take a look at your name tag. What's in it? Do you know the origin? Do you know the expectations? Do you know the identity? Have you lived up to those expectations, or have you run from them? Has that name shaped your identity, or have you shaped your name's identity? We're going to do a little experiment. I want all of you to stand up, and I want you to swap name tags with someone you don't know. So don't cheat. I didn't see you walk in, but don't cheat. And Mike, don't swap it, Mike. Okay, go ahead and swap.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
We're swapping. Candace. Once you swap, go ahead and take your seat so I know that you swapped. Alright, Thank you so much for playing along. Now look at that new name tag on your chest. What if I told you that today, when you walked out those doors, that was going to be your name for the rest of your life? How would that make you feel? It'll make you feel like a woman. What about others? How would it make you feel? Rich?
Wow.
Good emotions there. So if someone forced you to be someone else, how would that shape your identity? I want you to think about that. And while you're thinking, we're going to talk about my name. What's in it, how it shaped my identity, and the decision I had to make to live up to it or to run from it. This was a self-discovery journey that started at 22. Are you ready to hear it?
Yeah.
All right, here it goes. My serious voice. At 22, I started my first job at Cintas Corporation. Cintas, uniform people. You've seen the trucks. They're white. They have red and blue Cintas logos. You know the people. I think I want to say YOLO. Logos. You know the people. The uniform people. I was a sales rep trainee, and there was a ton of training. My most memorable was service training with the Cintas truck drivers. Oh my gosh, I remember that day like it was yesterday. I woke up too early, earlier than I woke up today. I was bright-eyed, I was bushy-tailed. I got to work, parked, walked up to the truck, opened the door, sat down, and did what most human beings would do. I introduced myself. Hi, actually my name was Higher back then, and I was more dramatic. Can you imagine? Hi! I'm Keisha Mabry. I'm so excited to ride with you today, Becky. Becky said nothing. She just looked at me and stared. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of that staring game. You know the one. You blinked, you lost. That game. She just stared at me. And then she finally spoke. Keisha, huh? With that kind of name, I'm guessing you have 3 kids on welfare? Yes. 3 kids on welfare? Did Becky just say this to me? Like, these are the thoughts that were going on in my head. I thought I was hearing things, but I wasn't. Becky heard my name was Keisha, and immediately she prejudged me, calling me a welfare mom of 3 kids. First thought, cuss Becky out. Mean girl style, with every single mean girl word. You know the ones I'm thinking of because you're thinking of them right now and you've said them before. Don't act brand new. Cuss her out, right? And I really wanted to cuss her out. I mean, very immature for me, yes, but forget sticks and stones breaking my bones. Becky's words had hurt me and I wanted to hurt her back. So yes, I wanted to cuss her out. Second thought, cussing her out will only perpetuate the stereotype. Getting out of the truck would make me a coward, and I am neither. Third thought, what will Mom do? Heck, what would Jesus do? And what should I do? Before I tell you what I did, I want to know what you would do. If you were me in that Cintas truck, filled with mats, mops, and the musty smell of cardboard boxes, what would you have done? Would you have cussed Becky out? Would you have gotten out the truck? Would you have sat and did nothing? We have a live poll right now. I would like you to take out your cell phones and text your answer to the numbers on the screen. I wasn't sure if you would tell the truth about cussing Becky out, so we're going to do this text now. Let's see what you would have done.
Are we supposed to know what number this is supposed to go to?
Just in the top right.
Yeah.
Alright, so maybe this isn't working. So, in this case, you have to tell the truth. So who would have cussed Becky out? Raise your hands.
Yeah.
What? Okay, who would have gotten out the truck? What? Okay, what would you have done? Okay, so what would you have done then? Get her fired?
Question her response.
Question her?
Educate her.
Educate her? Set her straight? What else? Cuss her out again? So I didn't do any of the above. I didn't cuss her out. I didn't get out of the truck. After 15 minutes, I sat there confused, basking in emotion. I was irritated, frustrated. Quite frankly, she had annoyed the hell out of me. But more than anger and annoyance, I was discouraged. I was discouraged because it wasn't true, but it could have been true. You see, my grandmama and papa were Rolling Stones. Wherever he laid his hat and wherever she laid her lace handkerchief were their homes. The generational curses of my family could have made the stereotypes of my name my reality, and this discouraged me. After 15 minutes, I didn't want to approve or disprove her beliefs, although I was discouraged by I, Keisha, so that I could educate her. And so I put on my big girl panties. Mom hadn't texted me back, Jesus hadn't texted me back. So I had to take matters into my own hands. And I was able to muster one word. Why? Becky looked at me with confusion. Unexpected confusion. Unwavering confusion. She was just confused. And she started to stutter Porky Pig style. Can anyone do a good impression? Good job. It's exactly what she did. It was clear that she was unclear. Unclear why she felt that way, and unclear if she truly felt that way. But unclear or not, I wanted to know why. And why she felt the need to say those things out loud. And so I asked why louder. Why do you feel this way? And the stuttering continued. And then before she could really answer, we pulled up to our first delivery, then our second, and then our third. And for 3 hours, she dodged me. Always picking up mats, mops, and boxes and hiding her face, blocking her mouth. She was a coward. And then lunch came. Lunch came and she couldn't dodge me anymore. It was just me and her in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, sitting at the town's favorite 5-star restaurant in a booth at Subway, also known as Subway. So we sat there, and the staring game continued. And then she broke. And she wouldn't shut up. She spoke. She spoke of her childhood upbringing and the stories her family shared with her about Black people. She spoke about the media and how it portrayed Black people. She spoke and spoke and spoke. She spoke of her limited exposure with Black women and Black people in general. And then she said something she probably didn't mean to say, unlike that welfare comment from earlier. She spoke of her trailer park past and her childhood desire to marry a man that would save her. Yes, Becky needed to be saved. Becky needed to be saved in more ways than one. You see, Becky's beliefs fueled her prejudice, and that prejudice fueled her actions. In reality, she was doing to me what others had done to her. She was running from the stereotypes associated with trailer park, running from the stereotypes associated with Becky, and she wanted me to do the same. person that has your name tag? Are you living or are you running? You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of some really cool facts I read recently. It's called nominative determinism. On the count of 3, I want you to say it with me. Say it 3 times fast. Just say it once, all right? Nominative determinism. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Nominative determinism.
And what that means is a phenomenon that some scientists are studying, saying our names do indeed affect our identity. Our names have stereotypes that not only affect identity, but can also affect our future career choices. Not too long ago, a scientific journal published a whole article, actually a whole journal, on this idea, and they gave some really cool live examples. One example, Daniel Snowman. Can you guess what he grew up to be? What do you all think he grew up to be? Call and response.
Ice sculptor.
Ice sculptor. What else? Any other?
CEO.
CEO.
Investment banker.
He grew up to study the polar region, actually, and he published a lot of books about it. So you were very close with ice sculpture. So again, nominative determinism, the idea that names truly do affect identity and have these stereotypes associated with them. You know what this reminds me of in St. Louis? The high school question. And don't act like you haven't asked it, because I know you have. It is the question of every single networking event. You walk in, and within 5 minutes, someone is asking you that question. You know the one. Hi, what's your name? What do you do? What school did you go to? And a transplant like me assumes college, and then people look at you crazy. So when I moved here 5 years ago, I kept getting that question, and clearly my answer was wrong, because I was saying University of Kentucky. Soon I learned that people were more interested in my high school. I didn't go to high school here, so I didn't know how to answer. And then I was wondering, do people go to college here? It really crossed my mind. But I know they did, right? What they were trying to do, they were trying to quickly find some type of reference to make a connection. But what they were also doing was prejudging, good, bad, or ugly. They were taking all of the beliefs that they had associated with this name, and they were attaching it to the person in front of them, regardless of when they graduated, even if it was 20 years ago. They were prejudging. And when I think back to my own experiences with names and judgment, after that truck ride with Becky, I had a decision to make. Do I live up to my name, or do I run from it? Becky had caused me to question my own identity. You see, in that moment, I realized that I wasn't given my name an identity. The name was giving me an identity, and this caused me to have an identity crisis. For months and months and months, I struggled to find myself. I mean, the struggle was real. It was really real. And then during the search, I came across a really cool quote that read, "Life isn't about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself," by George Bernard Shaw. That is it, I thought. I will build a me, kind of like build a bear, but build a Keisha. And that's exactly what I did. I built a Keisha. And step 1 to build a Keisha was to change my name. I didn't hate my name, but I hated the stereotypes that people associated with it. I hated those comments, and I wanted to avoid those comments like Becky's. My mom, on the other hand, was not excited about this Build a Keisha project. She named me Keisha for a reason. She wanted me to sympathize with her, but I wanted her to sympathize with me. So, what did I do? Google wasn't Google back then. Who remembers Yahoo? Who still here has a Yahoo account, email account? I did too. I paid for it. So yeah, I searched Yahoo. I got on the search bar, I went to town, and I was quite surprised by the results. It was actually really easy to change your name in Kentucky. 2 options. You could simply start using a new name. Disclaimer, as long as you weren't running from the law or credit. I wasn't running from either, so check. The second option, though, you had to fill out 2 forms, get them notarized, and then attend a court hearing. That option was too much for me, so option 1 was looking kind of good. And the best part of it all, Skylar was at the top of my name change list. I mean, say it with me. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Skylar.
I mean, with that kind of name, the sky for me could have been the limit, right? But Mom, as my students used to say, Mom was in her feelings. And she was taking this name change to heart. Again, she named me Keisha for a reason. You see, I was born 2 months premature, only 3 pounds at birth. And because of this, to her, my birth was indeed a blessing, and she named me favorite daughter because of that. But favorite daughter, come on, does that come to mind when you hear Keisha or any other Isha? The great philosopher Lil Wayne, in one of his hits back in the day, Keisha doesn't paint this picture. And neither does the 2012 summer hit Cashing Out. You know the song. Fill in the blank. Smoking on that. Keisha. Try again. Smoking on that.
Keisha.
Try again. Smoking on that.
Keisha.
Right? Both songs paint Keisha as either a promiscuous woman or something you smoke to get intoxicated. Society doesn't paint that favorite daughter picture. But forget society. My mom was most important to me. And if Mom could be proud of Keisha, the name that she gave me, and what it meant to her, I could at least try to live up to it. So I chose to live. I chose to live. And the step 2 of Build a Keisha started. Redefine Keisha's image. And so one day, one late afternoon, I texted about 50 friends, and I said, who am I? The first thought that popped into their mind was probably crazy for texting me this, but they played along and they texted me back. Who are you? You are creative. You are a leader. You are a visionary. You're a planner. You're resourceful. Wait a minute. I thought, did Mom pay them? Did Bobby, Bruce, Brenda, Bernice, Beatrice pay them? But no, they weren't paid. And the text continued. You are awesome. You're a leader. I kept getting leader. You're a future CEO. You're a future executive. You're a future entrepreneur. Lucky for me, they didn't say I was a spoiled brat, because I was. But who wants to hear that, right? I didn't get any of that. I got exactly what I needed to hear to rewrite Keisha's image. And that's exactly what I did. I rewrote Keisha's image. And I stopped running from the thing I needed to run to, myself. But the running didn't stop there. I ran to an MBA. I ran to Teach for America. I ran to boards, and I ran to awards. Like parking, I still needed validation. And unfortunately, I was still trying to guarantee that I wouldn't become her. And so at 25, I was still experiencing a crisis. It was a midlife crisis. I was still trying to find identity in this name that was given to me by someone else. And again, it put me back in that Cintosh truck. At 25, I was still experiencing irritation, annoyance. This caused me to, again, go into an identity crisis, and then it also caused me to start journaling. One of you has one of my journals, the September 09 one. If you could stand up and read how I was feeling at that time.
On September 27th of 2009, life is a resume builder. We spend our whole lives looking for ways to build our resume. Are we building our resume for ourselves, or are we building our resume to impress people? If our resume wasn't visible to the world, would we work ourselves to death trying to build our education, experience, community involvement, and skill set? Would we try so hard to reach the American dream, or would we recreate our own? When did the American dream become everyone's dream? I don't know what I'm looking for in this life, but I know I still haven't found it. Drake wants to be successful. I just want to be happy.
I most certainly did quote that Canadian poet Drake. So Drake wanted to be successful and all I wanted was happiness, right? And I was pretty deep at 25, I thought so myself. And I wrote those words. I wrote those words not knowing if I wanted to live the American dream or Keisha's dream. I wrote those words not knowing what happiness was to me. And then I started to look again. I started to look for happiness. And I started to look for an opportunity to change all of this around. And then like the snap of a finger, can everyone snap your finger again? Like the snap of a finger, good job. Like the snap of a finger, it happened. In October of that year, I was selected to attend, wait for this name, the Greater Louisville Inc. Expedition, ideas in there somewhere too. A very long name, but basically they were trying to get the acronym GLIDE. So they just continue until they got it. So I was selected to attend this process, this expedition, this conference called GLIDE. And basically what it was, a very long name, but it was actually a really short process. It was a 2-day conference in which about 100 people from Louisville were chosen to help Louisville redefine its vision. And so I went. And for 2 days I sat and I reflected and I journaled. However, I was more focused on my own vision than Louisville's. I mean, she was 231 years old at the time, so I figured she would be okay with me focusing on my own future at 25. And so I didn't ask for her permission, I just asked for her forgiveness, and I journaled. I journaled for 2 days. And another one of you all has my other journal, the October one. So if you could stand up and read the things that I was thinking at that time.
On October 18th, 2009 at 2 p.m., I wrote, why am I here? How will I be? What will I stand for? What will I do? At 3 p.m. I wrote, what threatens the humanity and future of our world and what fixes it? Both affect me, so what can I do about it? Why am I here? How will I? What will I stand for? What will I do? At 5 p.m. I wrote, ignorance and the lack of education in all aspects threatens the future. Exposure and education fixes this. I am here to help people realize their full potential. I am here to mentor, educate, and inspire. I will do these things by connecting people to people and people to resources. I will do these things by equipping people with the tools they need to be their best selves.
Thank you. You had a long one. Deep breath. All right, so I wrote those words. At 25, I walked into that conference thinking I would walk in to help Louisville figure out its future dream. But I walked out not thinking about Louisville, but more thinking about myself. And in that moment, I had realized why I was here. And in that moment, I stopped running. It was a bittersweet moment. It took me 25 years to find my purpose. Heck, I wish I had Siri back then telling me to U-turn. But I had a Garmin, and that thing was not reliable. But regardless of the technology that I had, the truth is, the moment was still sweet. Because although it took me 25 years, who cares? The most important thing was I had found it. I had found it, and I didn't want to lose it. I knew at that moment that I was supposed to mentor and educate youth. And so I joined Teach for America. I joined Teach for America and was placed here in St. Louis. And on the second day of teaching, I met her. Not another Keisha, but her. She was a 16-year-old 8th grader. 3 years older than her peers. She could drive herself to middle school. Who let this happen to her? Like, how is it even possible that someone can be 16 in 8th grade? She became an extension of me. And it was my job to save her. It was my job to prevent her from becoming the reality of her stereotype. her from becoming the reality of her broken home. And so the process began. I didn't need to read Purpose-Driven Life to know that she was my purpose. In life, sometimes we're always looking for purpose, thinking we'll find it in something that we love and enjoy. But sometimes purpose is what pisses you off. And that situation pissed me off. And so I ate way too many carbs, gained about 50 kilos, drank way too much caffeine, and lost a lot of sleep trying to save her. I had to save her. And nothing seemed to work. Her grades continued to slip. She continued to contemplate suicide, and I even thought about adopting her. And then one day it happened. One day, she started to dream again. She started to think of a reality outside of her home reality. She went from middle school to high school, from high school to college, and like the Energizer Bunny, she continued to go and go and go. That year, I was awarded the Outstanding New Science Teacher of Missouri Award. But that wasn't important to me. If I can quote the Canadian poet Drake one more time, I was just trying to take care of my peoples. And they don't have no word for that. And it don't come with trophies, ain't no envelopes to open, I just do it because I'm supposed to. Look at this comment. I wish I had the music. So yes, I was doing what I was supposed to. Then and now. Now, today, I stand in front of you, Keisha Mabry, still doing what I'm supposed to. I'm still taking care of my peoples. I'm still mentoring and tutoring youth. I'm still living up to the name my mom gave me. What about you? Are you doing what you're supposed to? Are you living up to your name, or are you running from it? And this doesn't have to be just your name that was given to you at birth. This can be any name, any label. Are those names giving you identity, or are you giving those names identity? In this moment, if you are running, stop. Right now. Stop. Stop running and start living. And we're going to start doing that today. Everyone's going to stand up again and take your name back. And seriously, just snatch it off.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Make sure you grab the name tag, not someone's shirt. Now, with this name on your chest, I want all of you on the count of 3 to say this name loud and proud. All right? 1, 2, 3. So, our last pop quiz question. What's in a name? You decide. Thank you.
So that concludes the program. We've got some donuts and coffee in the back. I want to give a big round of applause for the team. So if you were on the team that helped put this together, if you'd raise your hands. Hey. So Sunday Story comes out of an organization called Sandbox, and we also put on something called Creative Weekend. If you've got a creative side project that you want to spend some time on, we put on these retreats usually over the summer. And we also do a program called Workshop, where if you have a project you're working on and you want feedback in a positive way, we also run that as well. That's Tuesday morning during Design Week at Tech Artista. You can show up at the door. It's $5, and you get mimosas. And then Sunday morning we're hosting one other event, and it's called Improv for Creativity. It's a panel where we're interviewing the 2 founders and folks who run the improv shop in the Central West End. We're talking about how does improv affect creativity. A lot of the folks on this team are improvisers, including myself, so it's really important to how we come about these ideas. So if you're interested in either of those things, you can check out more on the St. Louis Design Week page, or you can look at thisisyoursandbox.com and you can find all the upcoming events. And one more time, Keisha Mabry, everybody.